Hey guys, Staff Sarge here with another video about Digital Mindsoft's magnum opus, the Outfront series /Soldiers/Men of War, and the mods therein. Now I've had a few requests through YouTube for my recommendations, in addition to something a little bit less half-assed than that previous vid. So let's kick it off with the cliff notes of how to put the mods into the game. Go to the main game folder, you go and find or you create the mods folder, and then you copy the actual mods folder into there. If it's done, there'll be the resource folder in the next step below. Then you just fire up soldiers and select mods, and they should show up. Real simple, piece of piss, especially compared to something like Homeworld. That was a pain in the ass. Only difference if you're running Men of War is that you need to go to options, then mods when you start the game. Otherwise, exact same setup. As for the mods themselves, I've got a collection from years back. Now this is from a backup of my old PC. Since Men of War came out, I haven't reinstalled Soldiers. So going off memory, Africa, because they've got the R. It's North Africa, reskins of maps and units from the desert, plus some new campaigns with new missions. It's a good time waster all up. On the flip side, you got BTRH, which is multiplayer only as opposed to Africa being single player. It adds a lot of new units. It revamps the combat engine, especially with armored combat. Tanks generally are more fatal, and the confrontations between them are a lot more final. It also had a lot of updates, hence why I've got 1.3 and 1.6. Pretty sure 1.3 had the mouse or the Sturm Tiger or something that was removed later on in 1.6 to keep the balance. Anyway, it's a good addition if you've got mates who like to make everything explode forever. Along those same lines, you've got direct engagement. It's the same but different, and it's also multiplayer only. It has a high selection of new weapons like rifle grenades and some new tank ammo, including tungsten rounds. If you have a choice, honestly, you can go either way. They're both multiplayer, they both add a lot of stuff. And now another change-up comes from the extended mod. See my other video for that. Aerial combat, multiplayer only, so on. Moving right along, enemy ahead. It's the required Modern Warfare mod. It's supposed to include armor and air support, including warthogs and all those other goodies from the Gulf, but the mod died fairly early on. So as a result, all we got is infantry, modern firearms and equipment, but still no vehicles. It's not one I'd actually recommend, but it's fairly unique because it actually went to a modern era as opposed to all these ones which stayed within World War II. What else? German soldiers. Now this is the biggest one of all. It had new voice files, lots and lots of new equipment, including some from BTRH and DE. A few new nationalities, and again they revamped the combat engine, a lot more heavily than with the others. This is probably the one I'd recommend over the others if you're into multiplayer. It even has some extra options for the game modes. Now on the flip side, you got Storm over Europe. From memory, it doesn't add much online, or in fact, I don't think it adds anything online. But it adds another German campaign, a longer one. The missions are from the other campaigns, but they'd be mixed around, new units and all that kind of thing. It does make for a nice change of pace, and this is the one I pick if you like any mates willing to muck around online. Now two of these that I found really interesting are the Dynamic Campaign, which the name explains it all, and Special Ops. Now the former uses a separate program, which I seem to have misplaced. It generates a dynamic single-player mission, random map, random unit selection. You fight, you win, hopefully, and the surviving units are retained. Then you run the program again to create the next mission. It's a new map, new mission, and it takes your old forces, but maybe adds some reinforcements. It's a very simple setup, but it's a brilliant piece of coding. Special Ops, on the other hand, it's dynamic, but it's a different kind of dynamic. What you do is you run the software first, and that generates a short campaign of 3 missions. Then you just go in and you play through those missions as an SAS Sabre team, or whatever they called their teams back in the 40s. Both are good to muck around with single player, but they're only single player, no multiplayer option at all. So that's all the mods I've used for soldiers. My picks for single player, Storm over Europe. For online, German soldiers, although BTRH is my personal favorite. Most of them are still available online. Some of them have been updated as recently as last year. You just need to hunt through Google, and you should get a few hits from forums or ModDB. No guarantees, though. I know some of them are still up, but some of them may be hard to find or even impossible. So, moving on to Men of War. I haven't really tried that many mods with this game, but there are 3 that I can vouch for. So working backwards up the list. GSM, German Soldiers mod. It's the same as the one in Soldiers, but for the new game, and probably with a new unit list as well. It's a similar deal though, lots of new units, reworked damage system, all that kind of stuff. As far as I know, this is the best multiplayer mod around, but there could be others that I haven't tried out. Probably are. As for single player, you got the Faces of War missions. Now this was the previous title, or the same title. I don't know. The difference between the Russian and the Western naming conventions is, I have no idea. Anyway, this mod, it takes the missions from Faces of War, puts them in the superior engine that is Men of War, and that's about it. Now, I personally liked the missions in Faces. I thought they were fairly good, but the engine and the GUI issues, that kind of killed it for me. So this mod is a personal favorite of mine. And finally, we got zombies. Now, there's actually two different mods for zombies in this. Now, co-op is the basic 4 guys with guns. There's an endless wave, and you just have to keep killing them. Nothing much to see here. It's a little bit fun, but it's nothing fancy. The other one, though, that one's had a fair bit of work put into it. There's 2 separate missions. One of them involves a group from whatever nation you choose, with all their different weaponry. So if you choose the Germans, you'll have different equipment from if you choose the Americans. You investigate a castle, suddenly zombies. You have to kill them for about 10 minutes, and then you evac out. The second one is longer and more involved. It involves running through a fortress that's been infested by zombies. You'll try and get to the different areas for whatever reason, and it's just a lot of good fun. Lots of killing, lots of looting required, and like I said, it is a blast. And I'm pretty sure that this is available to play online in the form of co-op. I haven't actually tested with any mates, but I'm assuming that's how it works. If it does, then, definitely on the list for people to get. If you got Men of War, I recommend this mod. And that's really about it. That's my experience with mods in Soldiers and Men of War. Why no Faces of War? Because I never could get the bloody things to work, and the game itself had issues. Thankfully, they fixed that all when they brought out Men of War. Now, honestly, these days, I'm not really playing them all that much. I'm mainly going with Vanilla Assault Squad. I haven't tried any mods for that one either. I haven't actually dug around for any, but I'm sure there have been a couple that have come out. If you're looking for others, best bet, just go to Google, put in Men of War mods or whatever. Eventually you'll get to some forums, I can't remember them off the top of my head, or just ModDB. ModDB is definitely the main rally point for the various mods. So yeah, just hunt around, see what you can find, and test them out yourself. And like I said, putting them in is a piece of piss. If you have problems with it, then I don't think you should be operating a computer. Stuff such that.